Pledge of allegiance first.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You wanna do the?
Yep. Yep, okay. Dear Lord, place a hedge of protection around us here and let us make the decisions that you want and just guide us and protect us along the way. Amen.
Off we go.
Have a roll call, starting with Tim.
Tim Kremen here.
You're next.
Laurie Gunnison, here.
Keegan here.
Chuck Terrio, chair, here. New business, do we have any new business that anybody brought in?
I don't put anything on.
Were we, was,
None that we can discuss.
oh, okay, we can't discuss anything, okay.
No,
I was gonna just wondering about-
Can't discuss anything about, Mr. Melanson's
That's what I was
thing
wondering. Okay.
or Mr. Terrio's thing.
Okay,
Well,
We can discuss the procedure and things of that nature,
Yep.
but, nothing specifically.
and those are under old business anyhow,
Yep.
so no new business? You didn't get anything, Tim?
I got nothing.
under new business, I do have in here the packet, about the rules of procedure. It's a little lengthy, I think this came from, either Ashland, New Hampshire, or Tamworth, New Hampshire. And I kinda just did a copy, and I thought, but I read through it, a lot of it applied to us, but I thought everybody could take it home and look at it. But I
which
know that
town is this
everything's
from?
Ashland and Tamworth, two towns that were kinda like ours.
So we have one.
But I know that ours, the rules of procedure we had, the attorney looked at and she said absolutely not. She said they
Right,
weren't
right, so
weren't
I
sufficient.
have copies that because we need to change, right, or do whatever. with
Right,
it.
we need to update ours.
Right, but it's good that you brought other ones. I got copies of ours in case anybody didn't get them.
Yeah, we do all have them and they're old and outdated, I mean, I
Yeah, you
guess.
have these? You guys
From the
don't have
ones
them?
before,
Okay,
yes.
good.
They're also online, yeah, 2001, I think it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
from 2001.
Over 20 years ago or something.
Yeah, a long time. So,
So we were hoping that we could, this is what we had kind of briefly thought about, I thought was, if we could kind of draft up one and then present it to the
No,
attorney to
hold
say,
on.
Well,
so,
I don't know
so
that.
we have to talk about all these at a
Okay.
meeting. I mean, you guys can't talk.
well, no, I
about-
meant us as a team, a committee, because we know we need new rules of procedures.
this is.
Right, absolutely, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's why we're doing it now. So,
Yes.
look at the ones we had before, we'll look at Ashland,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think, I
Well-
believe that you had talked,
Yes,
so wanna bring that up, Jim?
right. I spoke with Laura.
The
our
attorney, right?
Attorney,
Yep.
yes, about this. I asked her for, kind of a ballpark price, if you will. She said, she thought it would be less than so many hours and probably less than $1,000. I also ran it by a couple of the selectmen. They weren't really opposed to it. It's something that you want to have done and done correctly. So, yeah, we can review other towns and stuff. Personally, I would feel better, because
Just have the
you
attorney, if the
you
attorney's
don't
got leads,
necessarily know that
they're in the same
Ashland or theirs is,
boat as us. Theirs was revised in
Right.
2020.
and we don't really want to be paying the attorney to read 4 different towns.
No.
Right, well, no, this was only one, because I compiled the two of them together.
Right. So,
What
that's
was her
one.
suggestion?
Well, I
Jim?
meant-
Was it to-
no, her suggestion was, she had looked at the ones we had.
Okay,
And
good.
yeah, she said, no, you absolutely wouldn't want to use them the way they were because they were outdated. And like the fees and
Yeah.
all of that stuff was not correct.
And
I
like
don't
posting
necessarily know that she saw any wording in there or anything that she was overly concerned about. She didn't say that. She just said that, yeah, we would not want to use those as they were.
Right, right, right.
And like I said, she said by looking at them, she thought it would, perhaps you, sir, could tell us. She said, I don't think it would take more than this many hours, so it would be right around $1,000 or a little under, so I don't know what you guys get per hour.
I couldn't presume to guess her hourly.
Okay. So either way, that's what she said, you know, ballpark right around $1,000. And,
Do we have $1,000?
But did she want, we had
We
money
got all
in our
kinds of
budget
money.
already.
Oh, okay, I don't know what we have.
So,
I mean, this is not something that, you know, the rule, that, I believe I had spoke with her about both the rules of, or the procedure,
Yep.
rules of procedure, and that helper sheet for the applicant. So,
Mm-hmm.
both
that's
of
a good idea.
both of those I feel like are, you know,
important.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
really
Yeah.
important, critical almost
Yeah,
to,
really, for how we operate.
to go through the process. So, yeah, and like I said, the selectmen didn't seem to think that, spending $1,000 to do that was unreasonable, so.
But my question is, did she want us to somewhat take the parts that we want to keep in there and then give that to her, and then she would spend less
Well,
time? Or
I don't,
how would we
so
do
the
it?
other thing is, we were, going to have a half an hour meeting with her, before
Tonight.
the public hearing
Yep.
that we were,
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
we were gonna have tonight. So, you know, you could have quick asked her a couple of questions
Okay.
like that. And, so, yeah, I mean, I don't think so, because she didn't say that, but maybe.
Yeah.
I think everything, my opinion was ours is just not sufficient, like it's old, it's over 20 years
Well,
old.
one thing I noticed
And
was
based
like-
on the other towns I looked at, they're all
Yeah.
5 to 7 pages, and we literally have
Oh,
like 2
wow.
pages.
Yeah.
Our rules of procedures were very vague and
Well, I'm
not,
talking about having ours written by an attorney.
Yeah.
So I would think, and especially since she's the attorney that we pay
Yeah.
to do this stuff,
Right. That would be good.
then I would, instead of us submitting anything to her, like just thinking what we say, maybe if you're gonna be paying her $1,000 to
Well, I was
get
wondering
the,
if that
the normal
1,000
procedures.
was to review what we did, or if it was. If
no.
It was her to make the whole
She
thing?
can do it.
She's already looked
Oh,
at ours.
So she'd make a whole new one for us?
Yes, so,
Oh,
That would be
this,
nice.
this
Good, good.
got blown a little off course when I was given that, both the helper sheet
Yep.
and the rules of
That's what I wanted.
procedure.
Yep, yep.
I never intended to use those willy-nilly
Yeah.
as I had just got them. Now, somehow, it got interpreted like that, and like everything
Yeah.
goes schizo.
Yep.
So, my intent was to talk about it at a meeting
Yep.
and say, what, you know, what do we wanna do going forward?
So she said that for around 1,000, she could make a whole one for us, and we
Yes.
don't have to worry about it?
Yeah.
Okay, so, does somebody
Right.
wanna make a motion to that? That's what I was trying to get to make a motion and then,
Because I have
Well,
us here, yeah.
Well, why don't we, do you know if Laura's gonna be there next month?
I'm afraid I don't. I'm not here on Laura's behalf.
Oh, you're not?
Sorry, no.
Oh, I was assuming you were here on Laura's behalf.
I'm not.
Okay, so you're just a spectator at the zoning board of adjustment?
I'm here for an invitation, but I'm not on Laura's.
I'm confused.
so he's representing the applicant, because I'm technically not the applicant. So he's with, what is
Sullivan
it?
Hollis.
Sullivan Hollis.
Well, we can't discuss any of your
No.
shit.
No, we're not, but he's here for the setting the date.
Oh,
Oh.
good, then let's do
Oh,
that
that's it.
first, then let's,
Oh,
so he
yeah,
doesn't have
you
to
wanna
stay
do
so
that
long.
first? We can do that.
Well, it wasn't on the agenda yet, so I just was trying to follow the agenda. that's
But
all.
let's,
Well,
why don't
okay,
we, yeah, we should,
all right.
Well, do we want to move on to new business now? I mean,
Yes,
old business
yes.
now?
We can do that and then come back to finishing
Yes.
this so that he can get going,
exactly.
if that's what you guys wanna do.
Let's move
So-
on to new business.
So now I'll have to step down when we do the.
Well, I'm happy now, because I'm thinking, I didn't know we were paying this guy to come tonight.
No.
But I wasn't gonna say anything, I was just gonna pay him.
So we'll move on to old business, and then I'll recuse myself for the setting of the date of the number A, and you can take over, Jim, for that, and then I can take over after we get done that part.
Okay,
Okay.
sure.
You're the chairman
All right.
now, and I'm just a spectator. Well, I'm the,
All right, so let's go back to the agenda, where are we?
So we're at the set date for Middleton Workforce Housing Variance Public Hearing.
Okay, so yes, now Chuck cannot be involved in this process.
So he's,
His,
Just
his
as the-
representative is here, so, I guess this is when I would also bring up that there was some discussion about, well, first, let's say this. I believe we want to set Middleton Workforce Housing's hearing for April,
16.
what is it, 19th or 18th?
16.
Regular meeting.
It was
date.
16.
As far as I know, that date works for everybody.
So it'll be the April 16th.
Yep.
April 16th.
When are we gonna learn to listen to Laurie? April
Yes.
16.
Is that conducive to your schedule?
So I think we can probably do that.
April 16th.
Probably, or you can?
I could, if you could possibly give me a couple of dates that I could get back to you on, that would be preferable.
Okay.
Okay.
And I don't know the town schedule, but maybe we're comfortable with Tuesdays, so, 16, and then the next one would be the 23rd.
Well, this is why it's,
Yeah.
now it's gonna get.
but I think you have to do it at the meeting, right? So if you can make a phone call or something while they're discussing it, would be good
Well,
to
because
Bob.
the other thing is,
Sure.
and that's what I'll go into now, we have another one, that there was some discussion about having the same night. I have some pause about having two hearings on the same night. So I would rather, even if we had to do 2 nights in a row or whatever, have those on separate nights, which is why I really need to know whether you guys can make the.
I'm available.
All right. Yeah.
The 16th.
You know, we'll make it work, whichever date it is.
Okay.
Okay. And I mean, if we schedule, so I guess we'll talk about that now. So if we schedule, the second one, which is Mr. Melanson, we could probably swap the 2 nights if there was conflict but of course we have to reach out to him to make sure he's available.
Before we move forward with that, I just want to make sure that we're talking about April 16th, 2024, starting at 6:30 p.m. for that public hearing.
April 16th.
Yes. That was based on the
16.
email.
16th.
Tuesday is the 16th.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. And as far as I know, according to our attorney, everybody's good with that date, so I don't know.
But we
Right,
wanna make
but
sure
just
that
want to
they-
make sure it's starting at 6:30, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
But sorry, are you saying the date is work for you, the 16th or the 23rd?
Excuse me?
Well, not the 23rd, I just threw that out there, so that was my mistake.
Okay.
But this, remember you said 2, but I don't know about these guys, but the 16th is what everybody had down.
April 16th sounds good.
Okay, good.
That's 6:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Perfect, right here.
Okay.
Okay, good.
That's, okay, I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page as far as where,
You don't have to make a motion to accept it or
Yeah,
anything,
well,
right?
You should make a motion to have it that night.
Okay,
Well,
I'll,
all right.
Somebody should.
you do it, I do it. I'll make a motion that we accept April 16th for the hearing for the application that's on file for the workforce housing. Okay, great.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Yep.
And just clarify that, not accepting it, just to have the hearing.
I
You
know,
said
I-
accepting. You can't, don't say accepting.
Oh, my terminology, I'm
Don't
sorry.
ever say that.
Yeah.
Not in our line of work.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility that we could do Mr. Melanson's maybe the week before, that we have enough time for notice? He
No.
has been waiting a long time.
The only thing I'm concerned about is, we have 45 days to schedule it unless both parties agree.
Well,
So
the
we
week before, we would be
It would be
further
good.
ahead. I mean, if, as long as it's on a Tuesday, it doesn't matter to me.
Yep, what's the week before then?
The ninth.
Ninth, perfect.
Well, before we do that, wait, let me just check
I can make it.
one quick thing.
What did you say?
I just wanted to make sure that there's
Nothing happened.
nothing happening in the town.
Well, you have to check with Lenny too, right? To make sure he's available,
Oh, yeah.
so.
Somebody got him on
I
speed
mean, if
dial.
you want, I can ask him.
Well,
You gotta do it the week
that puts
before,
us a
so maybe
week,
you
that
can-
puts us, yeah.
That would be good.
That may be the best thing to do. 'Cause I was trying to actually figure out what works best for you guys, so it seems like Tuesday night is the best for most people.
Right.
So
I think
I'll-
there may be a conservation meeting, maybe. But I think the conservation could meet over in the other building if they
Now,
needed
you
to.
had sent an email that said that he wanted to go to the next month, was that?
What time is conservation meeting? Like-
So April 9th is Conservation Commission.
Before this, so.
Lenny was good with April 16th, but now the issue is, can we have two that?
So there's nothing on the 23rd.
That's what my thought is, only because it
I
gives
think-
him a little more time to be
So-
ready also.
The 23rd?
Because we had,
Yeah.
they're having conservation here on the 9th?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's nothing right now scheduled for the 23rd, so we wanted to grab that date we could.
Okay, so I think that might be just over the 45 days, but if
No,
he
maybe
agrees.
they're-
Well-
If he agrees to it, then we should be fine.
All right, so I want to ask Lenny about the 23rd, if that
Yep.
works for him?
And we're all good with that, so.
And everybody here can be here, that'd be
Yep.
great. We don't have to worry about Joe.
Well, if you can't, we probably could do it tonight, like I said, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that, well, I obviously wouldn't be at the conservation meeting because I would be here, which only leaves Kate and Dan. So I'm pretty sure they could meet over there if they,
Well, let me try the 23rd.
yeah,
That's the best
if he's
date,
in agreement
and I'll let you
with.
guys know if it's not.
Right. I don't really like to go over,
Yeah.
but
If he's okay with it,
Yeah, exactly. If he's willing to accept it, then we'll be good for all of us, right?
yeah.
Yeah, because the.
Well, I've already listened to him piss and whine and moan that,
We're not
we
available.
screwed it up 3 times for him already, so I really don't like to go down that road, but
That's
No,
what.
that's all right, no,
that's
that's
just
fine.
me.
Which I think that,
Both dates and see which one
Yeah,
he
that's
prefers.
all.
Okay.
If
Because
it
so
was
what is it, the 9th or the
23rd?
23rd?
So we're available.
yes,
Either one will be
I'll let you
good.
guys know.
I'm heading to the Caribbean on the 26th.
Nice.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Before we
did,
go back to the agenda, did you want to approve your minutes?
yeah,
It's not on the agenda.
yeah, that's why we missed it, there's no
Yep.
approval of minutes. I was just thinking of that too, good idea.
I
See,
did,
what's got, yeah, I had handwritten on their other, but
I did read through them, and I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from last month. Pretty
Yeah, I
lengthy,
read
but, yep, and I read them.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem either.
Mhm.
Okay, who's second?
And you weren't here,
Second,
right?
second.
No.
I think she made.
I made a motion to,
I was on
Made a
the phone
motion.
for 5
And did you
minutes,
second it,
that
Jim?
was it.
I'll second it.
Yeah.
Jim, second.
Any discussion on it? No? Everybody's good? All in
mhm,
favor? Aye?
yep,
Any
I
opposed?
abstain.
Yeah, you need to
Linda's abstaining.
And so, also, we need to, I mean, because we had the old rules, one of the things I did see in there is we've never actually officially named her as our agent, right? So we need to make a motion that if we want Robin to be the actual agent that accepts these applications, because that's been kind of a thing up in the air.
that, don't use that word, but we,
I would,
Not accept, but takes in the application.
yes,
yeah, well,
Not accept,
I
but,
I think we should check with the attorney.
we did check with the attorney already, and she said, yes, she's an employee at the town hall, and she can take in every application, and it's officially when she gets her stamp, and that's what they told us.
I don't think we have to vote on whether she's an agent or not.
Yeah.
I'm
Is
not
that
sure.
your responsibilities of your job description?
Yeah,
that was a question that was before. so
we
I-
had that question, but you weren't at the, we all
Right.
had a meeting
Right.
just to discuss things when the
Okay.
workhouse.
But I
And
think
that-
that's part of the rules of procedure. When you come up with like the rules of procedure, how that's gonna be.
Of who the clerk will be.
Mm-hmm.
Who accepts the application.
I mean, because if there's not a secretary
Not
design, then
accept.
it's a selectman in, a lot of times in the town.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be nice just to have somebody, so should we wait, do you wanna wait till, I mean, that'd be a long time before the attorney maybe gets our rules together. I just wanna make sure that we have somebody designated. So the attorney said that she is
Yes.
automatically
Yep.
designated?
It's been the practice, it's always.
It's
Okay.
always been the practice,
Okay.
yes, and that's what we
So we're
discussed a
covered
month
then?
ago.
I just wanna make sure we're covered, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
good.
Well, that's what
Good.
the conversation was, and she said absolutely,
Okay, good.
when
good, good,
she
good.
takes it.
Just trying to cover all our bases, that's all.
No, and I agree, because that's what was the question that I brought up. Is she officially, because I had mentioned we had a gentleman over here that was questioning,
The selectmen, yeah.
yeah, the selectman was asking that, and she is, because she's an employee for the town, and she
Okay,
can.
awesome, well, that's good. Yeah, we're getting everything done.
Yeah, and an email is sufficient too.
For what?
Never mind, nothing, I don't wanna go over my.
So the next thing is the open-ended questions for the surveys. Did anybody work on that?
No,
Okay, so we can table that. And I don't know if you were privy to any of that stuff on the minutes before. So we were gonna survey the residents, we were gonna pick one item, right, and survey them on.
Yep.
Well, yeah, we were just
Just gonna do
discussing
one
that.
item, which we're kind of working on what's the official name of the family compound? Is that what's in the, does anybody have a copy of it?
It is.
it's right here, there's one, I made a whole
Is that what
bunch.
it's called?
This is it, this booklet that we have is an older booklet, it's page 58, and the one she had was on page 57, but it's Article 23, Family Compound.
So we were gonna send out try and come up with a few questions to have, to send out to the, our town, to the public on, about that. Because we're working to help the planning board, because they don't have time, to try and slowly get the zoning regulations, where we see that we have problems with them, to get them more in line with what current is. Because these were copied originally from Wakefield, I guess, and then just kept moving on through them.
So we were basically gonna try to pick a couple of ordinances that we thought needed work, needed, perhaps change. And then it was brought up that perhaps we send out a survey questionnaire before we made the recommendations, or, basically rewrote the ordinance. But I think before we can come up with some good questions, we should probably discuss the ordinance, and, as a group, try to get some ideas, what the general feeling is of how it should be changed, or.
What made you select this ordinance?
Well, because we said, well, what have we been working on? And so this discussion started before Mr. Melanson applied for a variance. But there was discussion about the family compound before that. So that was just the one that got thrown out there, like the first one. Because the only other thing that we've really done in recent past is housing one before, and we did a lot line adjustment for Brandon.
And then this was coming down the
So
pipe.
lot line adjustments are pretty straightforward and easy, that we didn't feel like, was anything that we
Lot
didn't
line
work.
variance, right?
Yeah, variance. So just a family compound was
We have
one.
quite a few family compounds in this town, actually. There's quite a few, so.
But maybe, perhaps, we'd be better off not to discuss it until we're done.
Lenny's?
Yes, and that's what I would like to make a motion that we table it right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, it would only be fair to him to not really discuss any changes.
And
That's me.
How are you getting the survey out? Is this gonna be
A
a
mailer
mailer?
or.
Just like they will.
What they did with the,
They put a survey out on the master plan too, remember?
Yeah,
yeah, they did some for the master plan, and,
yeah.
they were kind of going along that premise.
And on the website and on the Facebook thing, they were gonna do one. There was multiple.
Tim was the only one that came up with some quick
Yeah,
questions.
Tim had a bunch of ideas.
Tim had some good ones, but
Well, it's just based on stuff we've been doing with other departments, other committees, such as the Hazard Mitigation Committee. We was use the website and social media to better understand what was happening in the community and what people had more concerns about. And we got a bunch of responses, so I figured this might be a good way to gauge what the community felt as though they wanted more clarification with the ZBA on.
So it would be primarily over the internet,
A lot of it.
voluntary, use the site, please go visit it, or make a survey of the month on the website or something.
Right.
Yep. To see what the general feeling is, but like, you know, like we're talking about, see first what we had for interactions with people. But when Jim gets back up, we'll entertain your motion.
Yeah, I'd rather, I have a family compound on my property, so I have one. And, changing it right now doesn't sound too appealing to me, but I will go along with whatever, you know, I
And I'm
understand.
thinking of doing one for my son.
And I know it'll take a process, because then you have to bring it into the planning board, and then the people need to vote, but
Yeah.
I had hoped someday to put a third home for my son. But I understand. Times are changing.
And that's why I like to know what the town would like to do. Right. And that's where you work.
Wakefield, a lot of towns do not, I did some research, Wolfboro, I mean, don't put, just Wolfboro has family compounds, but it's mainly along the lakes. And Wakefield has some, but a lot of towns don't. And then I think the other one was Sunapee, but many towns in New Hampshire do not have them. They've kind of, now they have them like as just 3 family homes.
It was kind of interesting that I saw that we had that in the zoning. 'Cause-
Yeah, no, it's very,
Well, I mean, your option would be to do a cluster development,
Yeah, right,
Right.
right.
you know, and that way you don't have to worry about it. So we're gonna do a 3-house cluster development on 20
Yeah.
acres, and it's.
Well, here's what I think.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
We have two, pretty serious zoning requests in front of us right now.
Yeah.
We should not, let me reiterate, not discuss
Changing.
any of it or make any changes until we're through this process. So basically,
I'd like to make a motion to table the Article 23 family compound
Discussion.
discussion,
Until
or any
after.
type of re-looking at it,
Yeah.
and
Until after we're done with Mr. Melanson's.
maybe till the summertime.
yes.
Okay, does anybody want to second it?
I'll second it.
Okay,
Hold on, Laura made it, you
I'll
said.
second
yep. Good.
it. Any discussion on it? On the
Nope.
motion? All in favor?
Mhm.
Aye.
Aye.
Passes.
Can we go back to the rules of procedure? I just have a question. Did the attorney pinpoint areas specifically that we needed? I mean, she's just kind of left us twisted.
She-
Well, this is,
Well, she just kind of had it handed to her.
Yeah.
well,
And then, as I said, people, now, understand, I think you do, but let me explain it again. We cannot discuss this other than at a public hearing with anyone.
The rules of
With
procedure?
not, well, the rules of procedure were questioned, whether we were trying to use them. This is what happened. People started talking and saying, oh, you can't use these and blah, 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 because you're violating somebody's request and all of this gibberish, which was not the case. So now I'm just a little gun shy here. So I'm not discussing anything,
Good idea.
I'm not changing anything.
Asking about making a
right,
specific
so-
change, my question was,
Right.
did the lawyer put
No,
us in a
so
direction?
what I did was, I then handed those to Robin. She forwarded them to Laura. She looked them over and said, yeah, they need to be, I explained to her, look, we weren't using
No.
these.
We didn't
I
know
was
about
just saying, at a meeting, we would discuss them. Obviously, they were 23 years old or
20,
whatever.
22.
And, you know, try to go forward with coming up with a set of rules for procedure. And also, there was a sheet basically to help the applicant fill out the form, which,
Yes, I created that
Okay.
originally.
okay, which, yeah, I'm all for that because it is a difficult process and everything. But again, I'm very hesitant to talk about any of it until these two.
No, that's fine. I
I've
just
done it
wanted
over
to
with.
know if she
Well, I'd like to interject for a minute, because even though I don't know, he had presented it to him, but I had brought this to the table when we met with her, and I showed her these two highlighted questions that I had on the rules of procedure, so that's what, and when I said to her, I said right away, can the secretary be one to take an application in hand and stamp
I
it?
am going to ask her
Yeah.
specific, actually,
But I did ask her.
Robin will call her tomorrow and ask her. I'm not gonna, I don't
Right.
wanna discuss this
All right,
stuff.
well, I did ask her, and she said yes, but that's why she said, but these are non and void, so that's why she
You don't
said
wanna
to me.
talk about it until the attorney
Boy.
gives you all the proper stuff.
Yeah, no, I get it, but all right, that's fine, but that's why I was trying to say, that's why we would discuss this too, so they had
No,
discussed
you
it
don't
in
wanna
advance.
discuss it, because that's why my question before was, is the attorney gonna draft a new one that's all clean? And Jim said yes, for that $1,000, we already voted. Didn't we vote that we're gonna
What's
have her do
her,
it?
yeah, what's her timeline for doing that?
For doing the
For
rules of
giving us-
procedure and
Yeah.
everything. Well, obviously, we'd like to get it done as quickly as
Yeah.
we can. But
She's
I
gonna be
would
busy.
reiterate that we can't
No.
until we're through these two, because right now we're
She's
going,
not gonna give them to us tomorrow,
No.
right,
but
so
can she get them to us by May 1st?
I don't know. I mean, I would have to.
I mean,
ask her.
if she does municipal practice, she's probably gonna do it.
Well, I think she's
Probably
gonna
gonna
be
draft.
busy working
Yeah.
with
Can you
this
ask her?
that we have going on with.
Robin, could you ask her?
Right.
Well, no, I think, so we did vote on having her change and fix it, right? And do a new one. I remember.
We were gonna present, make it official.
Well, Tim is the liaison
Yeah.
to the selectmen, so he can
Tell her.
run it by the selectmen again. He is one of the selectmen that
Yeah.
I had already
Would
spoken
do it,
with
yeah.
about
Yeah.
it. And so, but we had to have a meeting and discuss it,
And then
and
vote.
now he can go to the board and say they need $1,000 thereabouts to get this done. And then Robin can call her and say, you know, what do you think a timeline to get it done? But again, we wouldn't, because we're going off past practice, if we didn't have them, or we didn't have them readily available, at least. And certainly not a revamped set. Right.
Yeah, I'm sure they have drafts, right, because I was able to see them on the New Hampshire website.
It's like doing a will, she just chose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you're gonna do that, Tim, at your next selectmen's meeting?
Yep.
good, well then
And
I
I'll
think we
find out
can,
about time.
Excellent. And it'll be after the two applications are done. Or
Okay.
after the public hearings are done, for those, at least you gotta get through that part. Anything else that we have? Do you have anything, Linda?
No, I think.
no,
All right.
and then that's good, I
I
think.
just wanted to go back, if you're talking about those, oh no, the family compound, I'm not gonna talk about.
No.
Because
No.
Joe had come up with some questions. So
Yeah,
keep that in mind when we
and
revisit.
Jimmy's right, we gotta wait until after. Just,
It was a great idea.
we gotta make everything fair for everybody. Yeah,
All right. So
that's the deal.
Robin's gonna check to see if the 23rd will work for Lenny, and then the 16th will be workforce housing,
Yep, that's what we're on.
and that will be our next two meetings.
Yep. So you're gonna get all the notices out if Lenny says it's okay?
I'm getting good at
You
it.
get a lot of them to do. So, I mean, you're already all set on the workforce, get that one going, but
Yeah.
Lenny, so will you send an email to everybody if Lenny's okay,
Yeah.
right after? Just saying that he's okay with that date, so we all can plan on it and put it in our calendar. Since we already voted on it, we don't need just an email notification, it'll be
Yeah,
good
and
on
I
that.
don't think we have to vote on it.
No, I mean, we were all in
Yeah.
agreement.
But it'd be good, nice if everybody can confirm that they can be there.
Yes, and that's what we did.
Yep.
We don't have to vote on it, because we already all agreed we can be there, so. And technically, you know,
So you're gonna send an email out tomorrow,
I'm gonna call Leonard and see if he's okay with either of those days.
and then you're gonna email everybody on the board to make sure they're
And let him
aware
know what he
and
would
can make it.
prefer. Yeah,
Right.
to make sure people are available.
Right. I mean, we only need 3
Yeah.
to have a forum
Another
anyway,
question I
so.
had is, can Dan vote on the phone? How does that work?
Yep, he
He
can,
can?
I
Yeah.
believe so, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty sure.
So, because Dan said he's not gonna be available in person for, the workforce housing one, but to call in,
Oh,
and
good.
he'd be available, and, so,
So technically, you don't, all you need to do is notify which date Lenny wants, because we're all available the 9th or the 23rd, so that's all you're gonna do is just let us know when. No other necessary. And, but you can get, you're okay with getting you, because you're here, what, tomorrow? If he tells you the 9th, you're okay, because we have that 10-day,
April 9th?
it's, the state thing says 10
Yeah.
days, it's really 12 days, right? Not the day of the posting and not the
It's
day of the
actually
meeting.
5 days.
Mm.
5 days notice. Yeah, I looked up the statute.
And it's in our rules of procedure, 5 days.
so 5 days, we're good.
But, I mean, I need time to do the paperwork.
But
Okay.
he doesn't have neighbors
Stuff the
coming, right?
envelopes and all that
I mean,
stuff.
it's only
That's
what,
what we can ask.
Yep.
So in that case, what's God, should we try to encourage the 23rd?
I mean,
Or I mean the 26th?
You still have time if it's the 9th to 5 days, because
Yeah,
it's only
23rd
the
for that.
15th, yeah. Even if you got them out Friday,
all right, it's still 2 weeks, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it can be,
Mhm.
can be
So-
tough.
So just as long as you reach out to talk to him.
I would prefer the 23rd, but
So yeah, well we, start off from the 23rd, and if you can't do it, then off from the 9th.
I think that's a good plan.
Well, all right, anything else? I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
I
Yep.
Good deal.
shut this stuff off.